So this is an email that was sent to us. The person is not a customer of ours, which doesn't matter. But he was bitten trying to break up a dog fight, and he was badly bitten. And he wrote me this email after he had been in bed for a week recuperating from this dog bite. I'll read it, and then we'll talk about it. I was recently bitten very badly when I tried to separate my dogs when they were fighting. They don't fight very often, maybe once or twice a year. And I have successfully separated them on countless other occasions. After reading your articles, I consider myself very lucky. This time I slipped on the wood floor and fell on top of one of the dogs, and one of them mistook my leg for another dog. I had severe bites on my lower leg and have been in bed for a week. I have 3 male boxers, and they usually get along very well. I read a lot of your articles, and I'm impressed by your knowledge and common sense. I feel like I should get an electric collar on one of the dogs, but he has a grade 4 heart murmur, and I was afraid it will affect his heart if I ever zap him. What do you think? Is this safe? That's not a hard one to answer. Start with the remote collar. Absolutely not. You do not want to use a remote collar for dogs that bite, and here's why. If you have a remote collar on a dog and they're fighting and you stimulate that dog, and I don't care if it's low-level stimulation or the highest level that that collar can handle, that dog is not going to think you stimulated him. That dog is going to think that other dog stimulated him, and it's going to make him fight harder. It's going to create a bigger mess than you already got. So no, it has nothing to do with the heart murmur. It has to do with the fact that you're going to just create a problem if you try and use a remote collar on that. I have a hard time going into answering very many details on this because I don't know what the triggers were to start this fight, other than 3 male dogs in a household. It could be 2 males and a female, it could be 2 females and 1 male, but trying to break up a dog fight where there's 3 dogs involved alone is a hard thing to do. I just would never really recommend anybody trying to do that. I mean, you can stand back and holler at them, and you might try throwing something at them, but to step in there and try and grab them and pull them apart, you're gonna get dog bit. And I recommend that you look at some of the pictures on our website, leerburg.com/dogbites.htm, to see how serious that is. It's hard enough to break up a dog fight when it's just 2 of them and you're alone. And the way to do it, and I say that in this course and on free videos on Leerburg.com, the way to do it is you have to have a leash, and you go in, and we call a dog fight a pile. You go into the pile, and you take the leash and wrap it around the loin of one of the dogs and thread the leash through the handle and pull it tight, and then you drag the whole pile over to a door, put the end of the leash in the door and slam the door on it. So you now have the pile anchored to one spot. Or you could drag the pile over to a small tree where you wrap the line around the tree, clip it. You now have the pile anchored to one spot. Then you go around to the other side, and the dog that doesn't have the leash around him, you reach down and you pick up the back legs, the 2 back legs, and you pull them back away. When you pull them away, you don't let them go right away. 2 things happen. 1, that dog's going to go right back and attack that dog that's anchored there. 2, if you don't do what I'm going to tell you now, the dog could curl and bite you. So when you pull it away, move in a circle. That causes the dogs to sidestep. And all of a sudden, they're falling on their face, and they're more concerned about falling on their face than they are fighting. So you keep having them go in circles until the fight is out of them, but you still don't want to let them go. If you can, drag them to a kennel, drag them to a door someplace, open the door, which is not easy to do, and get them inside and close the door. So now you have the dogs in 2 safe locations. Now, not everybody can do that. Dog fights are high energy, and you better be in good condition to be able to do this. Would I recommend a small woman trying to break up a dog fight with 2 adult, say, German Shepherds? No, you can't do it. You don't have enough strength to do it. And the last thing you want to do is step into a fight that you might lose, because losing could be, they could kill you. It's just a no fool around deal. So think hard and think long about it. But this situation here was a bad situation that was created, really, I'm sorry to say this, from poor management. So in closing here, I need to talk about the fact of where these questions and answers come from. They come from the Ask Cindy portal on the front of Leerburg.com. Cindy's my wife. And if you don't need to be a customer of Leerburg to ask a question. If you have a question on training, if you have a question on raising puppies, on healthcare, on breeding, feel free to log in. And you do need to put your email address, because the email is tied to the question that you have. And if Cindy comes back, or if you come back a week or a month or a year later, she can call up all of the questions and answers that you've written in on and review them. And it's just a better way for her to help. We don't sell mailing lists. We don't spam people with our mailing list. We do have 2 weekly newsletters that go out, but people can opt into those newsletters. If they want to opt out, they're off the list and they don't get a newsletter. They also don't learn about when we have good sales on our online courses either, or on the equipment that we sell. So, if you have a question, ask Cindy. She answers them usually the day after people write them in, unless she's not feeling good or unless she's traveling.